It's about that time to grab your favorite snack and sit back and relax, because you are now listening to the MovieTime podcast with your hosts, LOWKEY Geek Renee Zalata and Blake the Wolf. Take it away, boys.
What's up, everybody? The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. What's going on, y'all? It's a brand new week, brand new episode of Movie Time with Blake back in the hizzy. So why don't you eat your favorite piece of chocolate or candy? Come with us, don't you fuss, to a land of pure imagination. Blake, how you doing, man?
Dude, I'm feeling like a music maker. I'm feeling like a dreamer of dreams. I'm good. We are in full swing holiday movie season, which has blockbusters and award stuff all hitting at the same time. It's like that summer movie blockbuster feeling, but then just throw in a whole bunch of heartbreaking Oscar bait, high drama, rip your guts out, and then go see a movie like Wonka and cleanse the palate a little bit.
Yeah.
How are you doing, man?
No, I mean, again, just been catching up with all of these movie releases coming out. So many things. Plus, a lot of the critic circles are having their now best of the year rundowns and everything. So sometimes I'll catch a mention of a movie. It's like, oh my God, I forgot I haven't seen that movie yet. And then now I'm trying to rush and see if I can catch it or not. Because, you know,
Golden Globes just dropped their noms, and I watched 3 stand-up specials because now they have a new award for best stand-up comedy special something.
Oh, okay.
And that's a new award. And I love stand-up comedy. So I knocked out the 3 that are out, and then 3 still haven't been released yet. But yeah, it's definitely catch-up season also. Throw it in on top of all of that. Because once you start seeing some names get dropped in the noms list, you're going, oh, I didn't realize we're taking that one so seriously. We got to catch up. And then that way we're fully prepped for Oscar conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I mean, that's just around the corner too. It's like a Christmas movie lover's paradise.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's our favorite time of year going into this season because we are like fully in like award season right now. And it's only going to get crazier from here, you know, because once January hits, then you and I can finally come up with our top favorites from 2023.
I love a good list.
Yeah,
we're making list season.
We can do our kind of faux nominations for the Oscars and, you know, kind of build our own little contest around that. Something that Blake and I talked about that kind of uppens the stakes to our annual Oscar pool and all that. So a lot of stuff to be excited for, a lot of stuff to watch, a lot of stuff to talk about. And this episode is no exception to that. So first off the bat, we are going to be talking about the newly released Wonka movie starring New York's darling Timothée Chalamet. And then afterwards, we're finally going to have our Poor Things discussion. Something that I've been dying to talk to Blake about ever since I saw it back a couple months ago. So he finally had a chance to see it, so now we could talk about it. But first off, let's go to a piece of news that I actually wanted to share with you. I'm not sure if you heard about this, but again, we are major fans of A24. And, you know, every time we have a chance to talk about A24, we gush and we're like, oh, we can't talk enough about these guys. Did you know that they recently signed a deal with Max for Max to now be their official home of A24 movies?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think
that's exciting. I honestly did not know that. I'm not a news guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because it was interesting because for a while it was Showtime that had like the library of A24 movies. Not everything, but the more robust library as far as like a streaming platform is concerned. So I would always tell people, like, if you're a fan of A24, maybe you should like subscribe to Paramount Plus Showtime, which is now, I believe, the company name or the channel name that they're going to go forward with next year. But, you know, they're the ones that have this filmography of A24 classics. Now it sounds like that's all going to Max. And what I heard is going to be hitting Max first is more of the recent A24 movies. So like the Iron Claw will be there. I believe Whatever A24 movies came out in the last couple of months, those are the first that are going to be hitting Max once they're available to stream online. And then I think they're going to eventually roll over the rest of the filmography there, which I think is a major win for A24, given that Max is such a huge streaming platform and probably one of the better ones to associate themselves with, because I feel like Max is really more of a movie lovers kind of thing, along with the HBO series that everyone loves and all that. Short of creating their own streaming service, which I still think they should do, which would be fascinating, kind of like a Criterion, or they should have just teamed up with Criterion. Could you imagine that?
Who for what? A24?
A24, yeah.
That would have been, just a little almost too lit. Yeah. And you throw them in with like TCM or something, which HBO has TCM. They had Criterion for a while. I could be wrong. There was
TCM is on Max too.
Max, yeah. There was somebody who had Criterion stuff. And HBO does have a lot of Criterion E movies.
They do. Yeah.
They have the most prestigious stuff, other than like a Criterion and in some ways TCM, which now has Max, but they had their own app or still do. Everything's moving so fast with all these things.
Yeah.
I think it used to be Hulu had a Criterion section, and then that moved over to Criterion's app at some point. But I just love that HBO's you like good stuff, you want the good shit. We got that. We got that pure,
come here, right?
Hardcore, shoot it in your veins.
That's it. Yeah.
Hot filmic content. Let's go.
So I just wanted to share that with you because I knew you would get excited about that, because, we always, I get you. And, we always talk about streaming platforms and which we should like go with because, we can't subscribe to everything. That's just bananas. At that point, we're paying for cable already because it pretty much equals that, right? And HBO Max is like one of those things, or I'm sorry, Max is one of those things where it's like, well, if you're not into these shows or these series that's out at the moment, is it a service you want to still subscribe to? Now personally for me, I do because I think their movie selection is great, is robust, especially since they're tied to Warner Brothers and everything like that. But for others, they may think differently, So now if you are a cinephile, obviously a lot of people who are cinephiles have Criterion. Is Max now going to be that staple to go along that, knowing that A24 movies are going to be exclusive on the Max streaming platform?
I just know that Max is my go-to, and with this news, it's even more so. Mm-hmm. We've done a review of the different services on an episode a minute back.
Yeah,
but that's still the case for me. If you only want that really good hardcore awardsy international cinema stuff, maybe go somewhere else because it's got a lot of other stuff too. But just bang for your buck overall. I recently just re-upped on my Max subscription because they had some Black Friday deal, $3 a month, and I was just so geeked for that because I let it drop at some point once Succession ended, and I have enough other apps now. There's all the free movie apps too.
Oh yeah, so like
Tubi's got a lot of good shit on it. Prime now has some like free with ads stuff. That's happening a lot too, but Max is the best. I can just scroll, and it's the least amount of time before I find something really, really high quality good.
And Tubi, they just recently signed a deal with Warner Brothers too, that Warner Brothers are going to be licensing their movies to Tubi now. So especially a lot of like the comic book superhero movies, like those are all going to be available on Tubi. So Tubi's getting very sexy for a lot of different reasons. Yeah. We may have to
kind of revolutionize the free with ads thing.
Yeah.
Where they can just get and there's a lot of shit. There's even like the memes. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like what the hell is movie making? Tubi. What the hell are they making and putting out? And it's just the weirdest crap. And there's some scenes where you watch it. It's not like cult classic bad. It's like, this is not a finished movie product. It's so ridiculous how bad it is. Like, actually someone had $1,000 and made a movie and put it on Tubi kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
But they also have so much stuff. So like, there's a lot of documentaries on there I just put off for a while. They're just sitting there. And then every now and then I'll look for something a little bit more rare. And it's almost like they just said, hey, if we can get this movie off you for 20, like the garage sale,
Oh yeah,
one where they're just
the bargain
flipping
bin,
things that
like the
nobody was
bargain bins
looking
at
out for.
Walmart's.
Yeah, yeah, it is exactly that. But you get a lot of good finds that way too.
Yeah.
That was always a big treat, is that bargain bin, and go through and be like, wait, they have Groundhog Day? Yeah, I don't have that one yet. Sure, $2.
Yep.
Why not?
It's like, oh, they have what's that movie? With Bill Murray, Gina Davis, and oh my God, Quick Change. Like, oh, they have Quick Change. Like that is like a classic movie.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great example. Perfect example.
Yeah. So we may have to revisit and do another kind of streaming platform review recap, because the landscape definitely has changed since the last time we did one of those episodes. So that could be something.
Everything is always moving.
That's right. Yeah.
We got to stay on top of it. Yep.
Stay on top of it. And fuck off. That was always my that was always my favorite thing that would happen every time I watched Succession, which I did. I don't know if I ever told you that. I finally watched the whole series.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what I have to say about that? Fuck off.
Fuck off. Love it. All right. Well, we're not going to be fucking off just yet. We're going to be fucking off into our next movie that we're going to be talking about, and that is Wonka. Wonka is a new kind of a prequel to the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory storyline, I guess you could say. I don't want to say it's a direct prequel to that
Charlie
movie.
And the Chocolate Factory? You mean Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Isn't it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? I always get this confused. I'm so sorry.
Gene Wilder is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Johnny Depp is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The book is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So technically, I guess you're right. And also, I like to think of the Gene Wilder one as the can anyway. This is also, I think Chalamet is going for more the Gene Wilder vibe.
He definitely is.
Johnny Depp's is.
He definitely is.
So, well, let's just go ahead and say Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
As film people, and like, I'm not going to read a book, so
you
can't make me.
We don't read books here.
We don't even
watch movies.
Titles.
Come on.
Yeah. They say adapted from the, and I go, oh no, that's too many words. No, thank you. I'm just movie stuff only. Books might as well just not exist.
So yeah, so if you want to look at like a timeline of this, then take the original Gene Wilder, and this is a prequel to that.
Strike that, reverse it.
Yeah, flip it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Timothée Chalamet stars in this, and it is a full-on musical. I don't know if a lot of people realize that or not, but it really is, and it kind of adds to that trend that we're seeing recently in Hollywood, where they're bringing out a lot of musicals now on screen. We have Wonka here, and then we have, I believe next week, The Color Purple coming out. So we have 2 musicals in 1 month. So it's just really fascinating to see kind of the resurgence of the Hollywood musical being released out there. Especially something like this that's tied to, I guess, a beloved children's classic book by Roald Dahl. Now,
please don't say the word book again. I'm just
sorry.
Just because we're friends, please. Yeah.
That'll be the last time, I swear, I'll say the word book. I promise.
Thank you.
The director here is Paul King, who is better known for the Paddington movies, which I actually have never seen. So I'm going into this not knowing really his work at all. So, but I know the Paddington movies are very beloved. Number 2, especially if I remember correctly, that people will say this is like Paddington 2 is like their top movie of all time, or in their top 10 list or something like that.
It's like The Godfather plus Citizen Kane times Shawshank Redemption quality of movie,
which I find fascinating for a movie like that, you know. But you know, I can't judge it because I haven't seen it yet. So I'm going into this movie wondering, okay, what is this, I guess, star power or directing prowess of Paul King? And when the movie started and the first act, I did find myself saying, oh no, what are we getting here? This is kind of, I don't know if I'm going to be into this.
Yep.
And then something hit me. Something washed over me. And I was just like, wait a minute. I'm tapping my feet more. I got Wonka, dude. Like, I got a sniff of some, I don't know, chocolate powder that he produced. And I started,
like a lot of characters in the movie, like that's kind of what's happening in the
yeah,
movie too. You got all these cynical people being like, "Oh no, this is a rough world we're
yeah,
living in, and you shouldn't be having magic and fun." And
yeah.
then you're feeling that way because you're coming in off these cold New York City streets, 30 degrees out here, and then you
Hmm.
go in, you're like, you got to get warmed up a little bit, and when you do, and that one Wonka magic optimism kicks in, ooh, baby, it felt good.
It was
Felt good.
surprising. I was not expecting it. And like I said, I found myself laughing more, smiling more, tapping my feet to the music. And I really thoroughly enjoyed this film. And it was so funny how it made me do like a complete 180 during it, you know? And I don't know if that's by design or maybe, it's just me not really knowing what to expect. I'm sure there are a lot of other people who probably have different experiences watching this movie, but for me, I was like really surprised on how well I enjoyed this movie. The performances were fun to watch. Hugh Grant is hilarious as the Oompa Loompa. I think that is a classic. I
Mwah.
love. We've
So
talked
good.
about this before on how Hugh Grant is really in his kind of pissed off phase in life, where he's just kind of like whatever.
His
He
fuck
doesn't
it
give a
era.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, wait, why was I miserable for so long? Let me have some fun. Life
Right.
is meaningless. It's
Yeah.
short. It's getting shorter for me. I have not been treating my body or my family and loved ones kind. And I'm just gonna say, I mean, he's doing the old man popping off thing where he's just doing whatever the fuck he wants.
And
Just
it's
letting his
great.
belly out a little bit, just
Uh-huh.
kicking back and just doing his damn thing.
It's fantastic. And you could see it spills into this role of his as this little Oompa Loompa character. Rowan Atkinson as a priest is hilarious
Mwah.
as well.
So good. The
Just so
best
many.
physical comedian
Yeah.
alive since Chaplin, like since Buster Keaton, like in a long ass time.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You have Olivia Colman who really does her duty as far as being like kind of like the wicked stepmother role in a way. She does that really well. Who's the guy that plays the carekeeper, the
Bro, he
caretaker?
nailed it. I did not know him. And I even looked him up at some point right after the movie and was
Yeah.
like, who's this dude? Because he's
That dude
got
is
a voice.
hilarious.
He's huge. He was funny. But yeah, Olivia Colman, like one of our most celebrated actresses
Yeah.
alive and great at comedy. Another great casting choice for this movie.
Yeah, for sure. I believe his name is Tom Davis. And there's this one part where he shows up in this like Japanese robe and I couldn't stop laughing because it's like super short and he's a tall dude. So he's like, he comes to the door and he's like kind of like being all squirmy and all that because he wasn't expecting guests or whatever. So I thought that was really funny. But the one thing that really stood out to me, the one person that really stood out above everyone else was Keegan Michael Key. When he first showed
Great.
up as the chief, the officer chief, I was like, all right, this is kind of corny because he's trying to put on like this accent and kind of
He
like
did the gruff New York accent when everyone else is
yeah,
British as hell.
right.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here? This is so weird. But then the more you see him and the more things that happen to him, let's just say that he is easily bribed by sweets. And the more and more he gets sweets, the fatter he's getting. So he's transforming as the movie goes. And it becomes more hilarious as the more and more you see him. I just thought it was really, really funny. It's very much like the movie. It grew on me. And a lot of things here grew on me in the right ways possible. Timothy Chalamet. Now, I said that he is a New York darling because he is from New York. I'm sure he had a dream that he's always wanted to be a stage actor, and probably have some sort of role in a musical or whatever the case is. I feel like this is his moment where he can say he is now in a stage performance type of role in a musical. And I'm sure his theater vibes all came out during this, and it kind of showed. However, my only criticism of his is that his singing is not as strong. And I felt like they had to up the volume a lot in his singing because I think he can't really carry notes that great. This is just my opinion. I don't know. It didn't feel as powerful when he sings the big number. Now, when he sings like the really like when they brought back the Pure Imagination song at the end, when it's kind of ballady and all that, his singing voice works perfectly for that for me. But I think when he's trying to do like these big numbers and all that, it does sound a little bit tamed. And I think that's just his range and his volume. He doesn't really have that oomph, than like other actors will have in those type of performances. But I think overall he was very charming in this role, and I think the movie as a whole was extremely charming. It's definitely a movie for kids and families. So if you're not in that mindset, this movie may not work for you at all. But it's perfect timing for this to come out during the holidays, because this is like a great movie to take the family out when you're done with your Christmas celebrations or whatever the case. It's great for taking kids to. I don't know if the songs will be as catchy as their original classics, maybe one or two, but I feel like that's up to this new generation to figure out. And then if we just hear it on repeat, then we know, okay, that one kind of hit well with them, or whatever the case is. What were your thoughts on the movie as you saw it? I don't know what you were expecting going into it, but how did it make you feel as you were Wonkified as I was?
I was thinking through my relationship to Wonka, and it's one of those movies that I watched 1,000, 100,000 times growing up. Like, we had the VHS, and I can't even remember, but it's like so baked into my head. I don't know what the hits are from the early movie, though, at the same time, right? Like Oompa Loompa. There's the song that was referenced here, the World of Pure Imagination.
Pure Imagination. Those are the two hits, really.
Right. Yeah, there's not a ton of other hits, but that was also more monoculture era. So it's less likely anything will stick these days, but maybe, who knows? I was a little suspicious, but I was excited at the same time. I had kind of an open-minded. In general, I like musicals a lot. I didn't know it was going to be a musical necessarily. I like Chalamet because Call Me By Your Name is one of my favorite movies, but at the same time, I'm a little Chalamet suspicious of him as an actual quality actor. I know that he's a good superstar, can box office darling, at least now. But then there was also a couple movies there that weren't so good. And he's had some that are fantastic and some that aren't as much. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I necessarily trust him in every role. It might just kind of depend on how dedicated he is to it, who the director is, something I'm not sure. Including like, this one.
You're like a lot of the internet. There's a lot of people out there who will debate saying that Chalamet is not a good actor at all.
Yeah, no, and I'm honestly on the fence about it. I have that with other people that are generally considered good actors, like Leo DiCaprio is maybe one of my more controversial ones for that. I'm not trying to say he's not great sometimes, but there's sometimes where I'm just watching him try to be an actor, and I get that vibe from Chalamet too, rather than him transforming into a role. But that's also part of the problem when you're so ubiquitously famous. I'm going to see Chalamet and I'm going to see Leo DiCaprio, and that's going to be tough to get over regardless.
Right.
So early on, there's a few line readings that feel a little clunky, but then, over time, I'm fully bought into it. My expectations were back and forth. I heard somebody shit talking it, and then later I heard the review, and it flipped completely because once they saw it, not just based off the trailer, they were like, ooh, this is actually really good. I've heard other people get converted in the same kind of way we're talking about once they actually sat through and watched the movie, rather than just like the concept of like, why did we even make this? Do we need this? Right. Whatever. It's a winner for sure. I think it's winsome. It wins people over. It'll melt that exterior, and kind of like a good piece of chocolate, might be hard on the outside. Let it get to that melty. And that's the most delicious part. By the end, I was literally streaming tears, and I don't. Normally, if I'm going to cry in a movie, it'll be one tear or a little kind of thing. It was literally like I didn't even know it was happening. It was really strange. One moment, I go oof, because the scene gets you. It's about family and the family we choose, and having your heart, open to the world, letting it affect you. That kind of thing will get me. And seeing these down and out, his little crew that he's developed in the movie. And then at some point, like I felt that. And then at some point, a couple minutes later, I was like, oh my God, my face is just wet. Like weirdly so. I never cry that way without noticing it like that. It was actually kind of strange. I was like, oh, is this what happens when other people cry? I don't know. Like this is bizarre.
Is this what happens when you get emotional? Like you have feelings?
Yeah. and just like letting it go and not thinking about it instead of just feeling it. So
Right.
it definitely broke through in that way for me. My audience was not very, it wasn't a full screening, but there's also so many screenings. And I saw it
Mhm.
like an early afternoon screening, more of the Renee show time. So overall, I can't really say it wasn't a very full, but it was for the time it was definitely pretty full. And there's people around me. I heard some people reacting and some not so much. I laughed a lot too. And the part of the problem with my laugh in an audience like that, I have such a loud laugh. Maybe everyone laughed at the exact same time and I'll never know. But I guffawed and was caught off guard by how hard I was laughing, especially Oompa Loompa stuff, or just a few of the lines are so ridiculous. The guy we're talking about, Tom Davis, I'm looking at his credits. I don't know if I've seen a single thing he's been in or noticed him in anything, but he's
Yeah.
a pretty memorable looking dude. So I think I would remember. Overall, I loved it. I'm curious how the general population will react to it, but I fully recommend it, and I'm probably going to watch it again. Like, if not in theaters, and at least when it comes out, it might be a movie that's just in rotation for me for years, and such an easy watch. It's a family movie. There's some concepts in it that are so it's more like 9 years old, 11 years old kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily 5 years old, whatever. It's not Pixar-y in that way, but it's such a pleasant movie, and even the parts that are offensive, right? Like someone's being beaten or whatever, or they're getting their butt kicked. It's actually in a kind of comical, silly
Yeah.
way. So I think I could just have this on and like fall asleep to it kind of movie of over the years. Yeah, I was won over fully. I
Yeah.
got wanted.
Yeah, we both got Wonka. And I am also curious if the audience will get Wonkified as well, because it's a tough sell to bring back a name or a property that only certain generations will recognize right away. Like you and
I
I.
love it so much. It's
Yeah.
up here. Like people have Wonka
Right.
tattoos.
Yeah.
That's like in their bios back in MySpace days and shit. Like
Yeah.
for that group of people, and you're raised with it, it is. And even the Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, the Johnny Depp one, has like people who love it, like cult classic style. But
Yeah.
they love it, and they're like, "Don't touch this" kind of vibe.
Right. Yeah. And even like references to like golden ticket references, like that's something we still use today. Like, oh, what happened? You got the golden ticket or whatever the case is. So it's hard to kind of bring that back. I understand the need to, because when you get several generations away from that original, you need something to kind of help introduce it to a brand new generation who may have a harder time going backwards, right? We talk about this before, where a lot of people can't watch black and white movies, or they find going back to like movies from the 70s or 80s hard to and difficult to sit through and all that. So how can we get people invested or interested in older properties? So they're going to have to do stuff like this, because when I heard that they were going to do this prequel, I too was just like, is this necessary? Do we need to go back to this well and all that? But when they casted Chalamet, I was like, oh, you know what? This could actually be kind of interesting, depending on, I guess, to go with what you were saying, which version of Chalamet are we going to get? Are we going to get like the emo kind of like, walking through streets of New York, just moping around Chalamet? Or are we going to get like the really invested Chalamet who's like all in on it? And
speaking of which, you mentioned earlier, he does have some Broadway or type he went to the LaGuardia Fame School.
right.
His mom was
Yeah.
even a Broadway dancer.
Mhm.
He did cabaret in high school. So he's definitely got the showman thing. And there's
Oh, yeah.
also some real cringy rapping clips of him from back
Oh,
then.
yeah. I actually seen some of those.
And then also
Well,
in
he used to have
SNL, you
a-
can see him going for it. And
Oh, yeah.
he's a showman in that type of Willy Wonka way, where it makes sense once he is going to that level.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a YouTube channel and all that. He's a very interesting kid. And
Little Timmy Tim.
like, yeah, and he has the potential to also have a little bit of crazy in him too. And you could see, because we all know the Gene Wilder Wonka, where he'll flip out every now and then. He'll have like these manic episodes, and of course, we all know the big blowout he has at the end of the movie, when he's screaming at poor little Charlie there. And we saw. Yeah.
Sorry, if we can revisit that one while you're talking about that.
Yeah.
Why was he mad in the old movie? He was he like society had left him out. He didn't trust people. These kids took him, were using it. Like, what was with his attitude back then? Do you remember? Because maybe I watched
Yeah.
it too many times and that's just who he is.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where he became like an extreme introvert, right? So he was constantly in the factory doing his creation. So he no longer had ties to the outside world. But at the same time, he really didn't disliked when people took advantage or didn't understand the beauty behind his works and simplicity behind it all
Okay.
like
He's like
that.
the
So
frustrated genius kind of
right,
type.
right. Yeah.
It was interesting to see Chalamet then too, which is I think good casting for the young version of that guy, where he's
Mhm.
so optimistic and so naive. It was one of the things that
Yeah.
made it hard to watch early on was how naive he was to the point. Shout out to our illiterate audience, but dude couldn't read.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it was naive, but also like just going with it and would like open a door that said tiger and he was looking for the door that said giraffe or
Yeah.
signing his life away in a contract, even though he probably shouldn't have signed that contract.
Right.
And just trusting people, just going with feeling.
Just going with it.
He's
Yeah.
so naive, and it makes sense that dude would get frustrated. And I think that's some good retconning, sort of. If I don't know if that's retconning, but you get the idea. And Chalamet is good casting for that because he does have that kind of dopey, boyish demeanor,
Right.
and you could kind of even see him like even the look of it felt right during the movie. I was into that aspect of it. But okay, thanks for walking back through that with me.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things where, and I like that they kind of showed him coming from very humble beginnings too, which kind of made sense as to why he would be drawn to Charlie, because Charlie was also very similar, coming from a poor background, all that, didn't have a lot of things going for him. And this version of Wonka, the early Wonka, pretty much had the same type of life, just on a whim decide that he's going to move to this city and create a chocolate factory or create his own chocolate business without a single penny in his pocket. Or what did they call it? I don't know. They had a different name for their currency. But he's
Sovereigns.
Also sovereigns. Yeah. But he's also very helpful and friendly to other people around him. That's how he was able to make friends with the people that he was kind of trapped with, and all that, because he's just a very helpful, lend a helping hand kind of person like that. They also did kind of address the whole Oompa Loompa situation where there's a lot of controversy that he's enslaved these guys, and no, he did not. He had a deal with Hugh Grant there, because it was Wonka who stole these cocoa beans from their land. And because of that, Hugh Grant's Oompa Loompa was trying to collect what he stole, but was it times 1,000? So basically, it had to be repaid more so, right? And then when Wonka was deciding that he was going to open up a factory, he kind of offered a job, saying, "I need a taste tester. Would you do that for me?" And after some back and forth, he agreed. So that's how basically he got in touch with the Oompa Loompas. That's the very early starts of it. What happens after that, we don't know. We are not being told. But they kind of addressed the whole enslavement thing where it wasn't so much the case there.
There's also the question about casting, which a Wizard of Oz problem too, of casting. I'm not sure what phrase to use here, but little people I've heard is the more PC term. Again, right. I'm not sure. But having Hugh Grant CGI'd into a very tiny person was it. And the physical comedy of his character was fantastic. And it didn't feel like it was mocking anybody, which I'm not the person to speak on that. Maybe someone out there felt that way. I feel like they did a good job not bringing those things to mind. The two big Oompa Loompa problems in the room. So yeah,
no, definitely.
Well done. That's something that could just, especially if it's cringy or even makes you feel bad or weird or icky or makes you think about that problem, it can ruin the vibe. So I think they did a good job not fully sidestepping it in an irresponsible way, but just not making it worse or making you feel bad for the guy or whatever. And instead, he's kind of a prickly, kind of an asshole,
he's Hugh Grant.
an egomaniac in his little way. Yeah, you got some good Hugh Grant vibes.
Yeah,
I loved a couple aspects of his character where he would lie about how beloved he was back in Oompa Loompa Land, and he was later goes, okay, they don't actually call me that lofty because they all love me so much. It's actually because blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And I'm not above average height there. I'm actually a little bit under. Yeah. But for the first part, he's just a real. And then he hits Wonka with the frying pan after lying to him and duping him. Another example of Wonka being too naive,
too gullible, and all that. Yeah.
You don't feel too bad for the Hugh Grant character either. He's kind of getting his own after being a guy who messed up back in Oompa Loompa Land.
Yeah,
I don't know if we get details on how the other Oompa Loompas come through.
We don't.
Later.
Yeah, that's why I can't speak on that. You know, all I know is that it starts off with an agreement that they're working together. If there is enslavement that comes after that, I have no idea. We don't know. That's something they don't cover here. But to quickly touch base again on Chalamet's performance of Willie, I mentioned before that we do get glimpse of nuttiness that he kind of springs up every now and then. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I would love to see a follow-up to this where we just see him turning full nutty. Like, something happens where he just like goes full on nutso. That kind of like blends into the eventual Gene Wilder character that we got in the original movie. But yeah, I think for the most part, I think he did a really good job. It was also really nice to see Sally Hawkins as his mom. Those were like a lot of sweet moments that they had flashbacks on when Wonka was like a little boy growing up, and how it was his mom's that inspired him to be a chocolatier and a chocolate maker. So I thought that was very, very cute. Plus, I also love the villains in this film, Slugworth and his cronies. Matt Lucas, that dude, he always cracks me up every time he shows up. I think I remember him, I guess, more in Bridesmaids, when he was the brother of the roommate of Kristen Wiig's character, and they're always constantly trying to kick her out.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yes, yeah, yep. So
yeah, good. So funny. But yeah, again, I'm surprised how I did in 180 on this movie. I think that's the takeaway for me. Yep. How I you know, in the very beginning, I was just like, I wasn't sure, and then it just won me over, and it warmed my heart and all that. So. Because of that, I gave it a 4 out of 5 star rating on Letterboxd. What about you? What is your final rating for Wonka?
4.5 right here.
Nice.
I waffled between 4 and 5. I loved it so much, and it made my heart warm in that 5-star kind of way. They nailed the assignment. I was skeptical, so in some ways 5. There's a couple things about it though where it's not actually a perfect movie. So I try to not get caught up in the way it made me feel, even if they got 5 out of 5 on what was asked of them. If you just compare it to, all movies all time, 4.5 is a pretty generous rating even then. So if you're going to put it on the objective scale, maybe 4. So I land in the middle there, 4.5.
Nice. Yeah, so that's Wonka. Again, as always, we are curious. Is this something you are willing and wanting to see? Or maybe you've seen it already. Let us know your thoughts and comments on the film, either on the Q&A section if you're listening on Spotify, or if you are watching a clip out here on YouTube. Leave your comments in the comment section, or you could shoot us an email in the email address listed in the description of this episode. And, like we said before, if we have any questions or comments, we will feature them in a future episode there. So definitely would love to hear from all of you.
We sure Oompa Loompa hope you doopity do.
Oh, it's so funny. I could see your face, like you were dying to chime in with something like that. You're like, wait, I'm waiting for my moment.
I was writing an Oompa Loompa, so I was like, I'm not doing that whole thing. Yeah.
With internet privacy being such a huge deal these days, it's more important now than ever to protect yourself. With Surfshark VPN, you can easily hide your IP address and encrypt all data that you send and receive. You can easily switch regions to other countries in the world. This means not only your true IP address and identity is masked, it also means that you can get around any annoying geolocation locked video content. You can truly unlock the full potential of your streaming services, and for me that's important since I need to research or catch up on movies that may not always be available in my region. With Surfshark VPN, I can easily switch to any region like the UK, and this problem simply goes away. And now I can watch Hulu content directly on Disney Plus or check out some movies on Netflix that I can't otherwise watch here in the US. I also do a lot of banking and account management online, and by using Surfshark VPN, I feel extremely safe and secure doing so. Surfshark VPN also allows you to connect to unlimited devices simultaneously on a single account, and this includes Windows devices, Linux, Android, iOS, Amazon TV, and much more. To take advantage of the current Black Friday deals that they have, make sure to scan the QR code that you see on the screen now, or click on the link in the description below to secure yourself a great deal that gives you a subscription discount over 80% and up to 5 additional months for free. And if you think it sucks, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, which will give you plenty of time to try out Surfshark VPN risk-free. Hey everyone, this episode is brought to you by Mint Mobile. Make sure to check out the link in the description of this episode or scan the QR code you see on the screen right now and find out how you can get unlimited data for only $15 a month. Save a whole ton of money on your monthly cell phone bill without sacrificing any of the quality. No contracts to worry about, you can cancel anytime, and the transferring process is so easy. You can keep your phone number or get a new one. Need a new phone? They got you covered as well. Over a year ago, I switched from Verizon without any hesitation, and it's not just because I found Ryan Reynolds to be a sexy mother. Shut your mouth. I'm just talking about Mint Mobile, but I guarantee you if you give Mint Mobile a shot, you'll understand why I made that switch, and you too will be a happy Mint Mobile customer. So once again, check out Mint Mobile, link in the description of this episode or QR code on your screen. Check them out. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this episode so far, but before we continue, I wanted to quickly talk about Bulletproof Coffee. Bulletproof Coffee is my favorite coffee of choice to start off my mornings with. Why? Because it's clean coffee. What does that mean? Well, one, there are no chemicals in it. Why? Because they go through this multi-step process of making sure that all of their beans are fully clean and free of any chemicals, so that when you get the beans delivered to you, it is the pure beans, the pure coffee, the goodness that you've been wanting, the taste, the flavor, and the nutritional value as well, without worrying about any added chemicals or anything else put into the mix there. It also doesn't have that weird acidic taste that some coffees give you. I don't know how about you, but for me, some coffees kind of give me that weird sensation in my stomach, makes me a little burpy, and it kind of drags me down a little bit instead of really waking me up, which is something that I need from my coffee every day. Bulletproof also offers a lot of keto-friendly snacks and supplements, anything that you need to kind of add to your everyday nutritional needs, add to your diet, and pretty much transforms the way you feel every day. So for a limited time, if you use this code that you see on the screen right now, LOWKEY GEEK, all caps, one word, you can get 15% off your order. So what is it better than that, right? Check out the link in the description of this episode. Use this code, get yourself your discount, and make your mornings a little bit more bulletproof with Bulletproof Coffee. Now, back to the episode. Let's move on out of our Oompa Loompa world, from the land of chocolate to a land of, oh geez, I have no transition for this, but a land of just madness, carnality, and
from the land of dreams to the land of nightmares.
Well, I guess there is chocolate involved in here because, you know, as we all know, Bella loved to eat and loved to indulge in her in every way possible. But let's talk about Poor Things. Poor Things, when I saw this movie...
Let's furious jump over to the concept of the movie. Poor Things.
Again, there's no easy transition for this, but when I saw Poor Things at New York Film Festival...
Oh,
Jesus, here we go.
You went to New York Film Festival?
Yes, I did. I know.
Oh my God, gosh, that's fantastic. Thank you for mentioning that.
I should have like a
Oh,
bell
love
every
that
time
for
that is brought up.
you.
Yeah, like ding, ding, ding.
Ding, 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 ding. Who's
Yeah.
a winner? Renee went to New York Film Festival. Congratulations. Humble brag.
Anyways, so yes, I saw it there. And
Where?
forget it. At Lincoln Center. So
What was the occasion?
oh, it's just a screening.
Okay. Good. You have to mention it every time now that the movie's been released, you bastard.
I am going to ride this till the very end because I am proud of that moment.
Sincerely, did you see any Q&A stuff? Or
there is, yeah. There was a Q&A with Yorgos and the creative team afterwards.
Great.
So I do know
additional context because I'm actually curious, and now I want to.
I do have some additional context there. I would have loved if Emma Stone was there, but she wasn't. Because of this was being taken place during the actors strike, the SAG-AFTRA strikes, and it's so funny too because after that Q&A session, she showed up in another Q&A session with Yorgos when they were talking about the short film that they did. Because she was a producer on that. So she was there as a producer capacity, which was really, really interesting. But Poor Things, when I saw it, now going into it, Yorgos Lanthimos is one of those directors that I do find very intriguing and fascinating. Now, I am not 100% well-versed in his filmography. I loved The Lobster. I thought The Lobster was a great movie. It took me a while to see it, but I really, really enjoyed it. It gave me a sense of kind of his humor, and kind of absurd kind of looks and takes on situations and scenarios. It gave me a good glimpse into that. And then I saw The Favorite, which a lot of people are saying is his more regular movie. That's like his more just non-crazy, non-out there type of film, his more like regular type of movie in his filmography. And I feel like a lot of people will
just saying a lot
him
because it's still a wild movie.
Right.
I went through a plot summary last night, just trying to, and I watched Killing of a Sacred Deer and then went through a plot summary of The Favorite. It's messed up. Like there's a lot of wacky shit going on. But yeah, the fact that's his most normal one.
It says a lot. Yeah, it does.
But I was also kind of like, oh wow, he did it. He just did a fully normal, totally weird, normal movie. No weird stuff. And then you look back, you're like, okay, now this guy's a freak if that's his normal. But yes, by his standards, I remember being in the theater being like, no one's bludgeoning anyone in a sexual weird way. Like it's no real freaky shit. Okay.
Yeah. And like I said, most people will probably know him for that film because that was very heavily talked about during the Oscar race around that time. And The Lobster too, because when that hit Netflix, I remember there was a period of time a lot of people were talking about The Lobster because there were tweets and memes out there going on about what's your animal, or which animal would you choose, or which animal would you be, blah blah blah, this and that. So if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what we're talking about. So with Poor Things, off the bat, I'm going to say here that this is definitely his most ambitious undertaking in a film. When it comes to story, when it comes to cinematography, when it comes to costume, set design, all of that. This is probably his most ambitious outing as a director. I also will say it's his best film that he's ever made to date. This movie blew me away when I saw it. I was just like, holy shit. It goes in so many different directions. It throws a whole lot of stuff at you. And in a very Yorgos Lanthimos way, it's also very, it has kind of a take on society. It has a certain take on societal norms and all that. And it really plays around with a lot of that. For Emma Stone to star in the role that she's in as Bella in this, who is kind of the quote unquote Frankenstein character, if you want to compare her to something. This is also probably her most ambitious role she's ever taken. According to Yorgos, she fell in love with the script so much that she signed on to also be a producer of the film. That's how much she fell in love with this character. And she worked with Yorgos to highlight more of Bella's characteristics and everything. She goes all out in this film. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there who are kind of 50-50 on Emma Stone. Love her or hate her, you're going to appreciate at least the lengths that she goes and the risks that she takes in this film. Because this is a character that is discovering life fresh at an older age, but with like childlike mentality and kind of wants and needs. And she's just no fucks given, just doing her thing, exploring the world around her and exploring her body. There's a lot of sex, there's a lot of food, there's a lot of debauchery, there's a lot of everything. And she is all in on every scene that she's in. She is fully nude in a lot of it, which was something I was not expecting to see. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, she's doing this? That's why, I don't know if you remember when I was trying to describe her performance, it reminded me a lot of Ana de Armas in Blonde. You know, she goes really all in on this type of character and very, very free with herself. I think it's one of the best roles she's ever done. And I really, really loved her performance here. Willem Dafoe is fantastic as her creator. Spooky, yes, but also very fatherly, which was fascinating. It was great seeing Mark Ruffalo in a very disliked role. You know, it's a role that you learn to hate him and you learn to despise him. And we haven't seen him do this type of role in a very, very long time. I forget, there was this one movie he did with Meg Ryan a very long time ago where he kind of plays like this womanizer, kind of sketchy individual, if I remember correctly. But this is like long time ago.
2003. Yeah.
He's been kind of like the goody guy. You know, everyone knows him as the Bruce Banner Hulk from the Marvel series. I think he mentioned even in an interview that it was nice taking a role like this because he is so used to being seen as like a fatherly type of figure and all that later on in his career. But he did such a great job here. Rami Youssef was great. My gosh, the performance is
like his first film role or first real acting other than his show, which incredible work on his part. I actually double checked it. I saw him. I knew exactly who it was. I go, well, there must be someone who looks exactly like him because he's crushing as an actor. I just didn't really know. I knew he had that skill set playing himself in his show with his same name, but that's a very different skill set than what this movie asked him to do with a British actor. Holy shit, that was good.
Yeah, I mean, the performances across the board were fantastic all around. I think I wouldn't bat an eye if you were going to talk about each of the main actors here for some sort of consideration in anything moving forward. Yep. The cinematography was probably the best cinematography I've seen throughout the year. With the exception of Oppenheimer, you know, I feel like this is like on that caliber of cinematography. The use of lenses and colors is just, it really brings out that alternate Victorian type of universe, very akin to like the adventures of Baron Munchausen and things like that from back in the day, which is some of the references that they mentioned in the Q&A was some of their kind of inspirations in creating the look of this.
You went to the Q&A?
Oh, jeez. We're still on that.
There's definitely a lot of cinematography.
Yeah.
But there is this complaint about Lanthimos that he's doing more camera work than he necessarily should.
Sure.
And that it can be distracting.
Yeah.
I did feel distracted, but there's something about what he's doing with it that enhances the movie for me personally, as someone who likes to see the director's handiwork in the movie, because there's something like disorienting about it, and his movies are very disorienting. There's something disaffected about a very on-the-nose effect being used, but all of his characters are very disaffected, right? So there's something about it where, to me, it works for him, but I've heard that complaint. I'm curious how the Oscars will react, because sometimes, like editing, often it's the most editing that wins, and not necessarily the cleanest, most subtle editing, which is, in a lot of times, better editing. But yes, overall, I want to talk about this with American Fiction after you see that, but that's a whole. But yeah, cinematography, we could definitely. I enjoyed it a lot. Is Oppenheimer is kind of what you're thinking about with Oppenheimer, the way that he's using different aspect ratios, the IMAX of it, and the black and white of it, or is there more to the cinematography for Oppenheimer than what I'm thinking of?
Well,
it's just like what you can see as, oh, this is different than a normal movie.
Yeah, it's, with Christopher Nolan, he is definitely an auteur when it comes to framing and when it comes to, putting a shot together, where he puts importance in any single scene, or things that he may include in the background that is just like, maybe at first glance, you won't think much about it, but then you'll say, oh, wait a minute, this kind of correlates with what's happening here, or may correlate several scenes later on down the line, or whatever the case is. I think one of our favorite moments in Oppenheimer was in the beginning, where he hones in just on that apple on the table, while Oppie is going through his college phase and his turmoil and his debate on whether or not he's going to poison the teacher or whatever the case is. Like, that is just brilliant cinematography, like the way he's carried it out. With Yorgos, it's definitely more on the artistic, creative side, which is very different. But at the same time, very refreshing and relieving, because I love seeing stuff like that. I heard one of the guys I follow on YouTube who does like movie reviews and talks about movies. He said he tried watching this movie and he's like, oh my God, this is one of those movies that, they're trying to get an Oscar here because it has to look so fancy and artistic and da da da. I was like, okay, those are the people that won't get this. But people like you and I, we appreciate movies like this. That's what makes movies fantastic, that there's something for everybody. The older I get, the more I appreciate creativity and artistic, license when it comes to the filmmaking process. It doesn't always have to be Scorsese-like. It doesn't always have to be, Spielberg-like. Let's try a little bit more Yorgos. Let's try a little bit more crazy, and maybe for some that might be distracting, but I think it worked well, especially in a film like this, where the whole thing is an artistic canvas. I heard it's based off of a book that was very hard to kind of adapt anyway. I think Yorgos has been working on this film for 7 to 10 years or something like that. And the way he even splits the movie up into chapters plays out very much like a book too. I love his little intermissions too, as he's going from chapter to chapter. It's like this like fantasy fairy tale version of Bella doing something. It's very, very like mythical Victorian type of storyline, fantasy and all that. But I don't know. The movie as a whole is just very beautifully done, very well written, very well directed. But yes, for someone who's not used to movies like this is going to throw them for a loop, because like I said, it does go all over the place. There's so many things that are thrown at you at any given time. But at the same time, it's kind of like the character of Bella, where she's just like frantic because she's seeing everything so new. She wants to experience and explore it all whenever she wants, the moment she wants, without, any hesitation or any guard or anything like that. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what happens throughout this movie, where she has certain people around her trying to stop her and tame her, and then she doesn't want to do that, and she's carrying on things on her own. And then at the end, she really learns how to be the human that she wants to be. And I guess thematic wise and themes, you could look upon this as in so many different ways, as like the plight of a woman, trying to get out of the usual norms of society, being the person that she wants to be, and all this kind of stuff like that. We can sit down here and dissect it every which way possible. There's going to be a lot of people out there who are going to be doing that. But for the story as a whole, I think it was just very well done, seeing the exploration of an individual who's never experienced life before, and with no hesitation, and that fervor, that carnality that she goes about it. I thought it was just really, really interesting to see played out. And it's definitely a different take on the whole Frankenstein type of lore or story type of storytelling that you are probably accustomed to. So yeah, I that's just my initial review of it all. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this. What about you? I know this is like the type of movie that you and I can sit down and talk about for hours. So I
For
definitely
hours.
want to
Yeah.
know your thoughts and feelings on it when you saw it.
I have 1 million thoughts and feelings, and I feel thinking about this movie, I kind of feel like Bella right when she's starting to put the world together, kind of thing,
Yeah.
and she's assessing. I loved how much I love this movie overall. Every single category, I'm with you. Give it a bunch of Oscars right now. I'm worried it'll be one of those that people are turned off by, and
Yeah,
it
like that guy I
doesn't
told
get.
you.
And a lot of Oscar voters, I could see it being the kind of thing that wins a lot. I could see the kind of thing that doesn't win anything. If there's any, especially if there's any external headlines, if it's a flop, if it has some controversy around it later
Right.
on, something weird. Turns out Yorgos Lanthimos actually is a perv or
Oh
whatever.
no.
But personally, this is a very me movie. The philosophical questions that are being asked at the heart of it, and then that are actually being asked on screen, seeing her have all these big realizations. It's a very like the theology, the philosophy, the existential questions at the heart of this movie are really solid, but they're
Mhm.
also handled very simplistically because you kind of break it down to its component parts. And one of my favorite things about it is it's not just a great script, it's actually being enhanced by the performances
Yeah.
so richly. I listened to Emma Stone and Bradley Cooper's Variety, two
Oh,
actors in a
actor and
all
actor.
white room. Yeah, actor on
Yeah.
actor, very actorly stuff. But her talking about how she created that character and the body movements was wild. Just and even conceiving it, I was thinking about it watching the movie. Basically, what she said was she's not just doing what a baby would do, which is their muscles don't really work.
Hmm.
And it's not necessarily someone who wakes up from a coma and is learning how to walk. There's certain reference points, kind of, but not really. It's totally made up. This has never happened before. We don't have this technology.
Right.
So they kind of gave themselves some freedom, but you also don't want it to seem that weird Yorgos Lanthimos line where it's very deep and kind of disturbing, but also very silly all at the same
Yeah.
time. She nailed that assignment. I'm not mad if she's in serious contention for Best Actress. I kind of want to look at who the competition is. And there are performances where the dramatic scenes may be better acted, which the Oscars and Oscar baity movies love. An older uh, actress who's been snubbed by the Oscars who's dealing with senility or something like that, right?
Right.
This one, to me, as far as full body performance, which we always talk about too, the Oscars don't love comedy the way that they should. The physical acting, the dramatic acting, the comedy at the heart of it, and you're watching her play such a wide range. Normally, it's silly to see someone go from a baby to a grown person, like the Benjamin Button disease type
Mhm.
movies, or the full, oh yeah, we're going to have them play an old, Maestro's coming soon. I'm excited for that. But you're watching them play an old man in makeup, but not a boy. Also, you're kind of watching her brain go through all the developmental stages. It was remarkable. I don't want to talk about the ending here, but I was satisfied by that.
Yeah.
Maybe even off mic, I have an idea or a question of how it could have ended differently, unless you do want to get into it. But overall, completely satisfied. It was also one of those, I saw it the Thursday before it dropped in a very artsy crowd, and people were eating it up, and I loved that. It's the kind of thing I really enjoy is people who get a movie like this and without all that chatter, like the person you're talking about. Now, there were a couple things afterward where somebody's talking about how gross it was or how weird it was or whatever, and they're not necessarily engaging with it as art and are more so like, oh, I wanted to be entertained. There will be those folks for sure, but for an art movie that's is a large scale art movie like this, I thought it was fantastic. And Lanthimos still, pound for pound, one of my all-time favorite directors, to the point where I was going back through his filmography since seeing this and just really appreciating. I've seen most of his movies. I've seen all of his movies, including the weird ones, that are just like Criterion stuff, harder to find. And then Killing of a Sacred Deer, now I've seen twice. The Favorite, I don't know how many times. And then I'm missing one. Lobster, just so many times. Yeah, just he's an all-time favorite. He can be hard to watch though, so you got to be in the right mood for it. And I'm glad I was, and that this movie hit right where I needed it to.
Yeah, and I think that's key too. It's like his type of filmmaking and his type of storytelling, for a lot of people, is definitely hard to watch because it's jarring. There are a lot of times where it kind of jars you, right? But that's the thing I love about his craft, is because he takes those risks, you know, with no shits given. And that's just his own way, you know. And even though there's a lot of stuff that happens in this movie that people may find gross or absurd, or, you know, maybe there's too much sex and all that, he does it very tongue-in-cheek. And a lot of times I found myself laughing at a lot of these moments because it's just so silly and ridiculous that you kind of want to laugh at it, you know. And I think that's just his charm as a director. It's like he knows how to explore a lot of these different things, and he puts a light on it that is kind of baked in realism, but also a little bit on the absurd side, but something that you could also laugh at. And I feel like that's kind of how he approaches life, where you kind of have to laugh at these things because it's relatable, and, you know, shit like that happens, you know. And if you were put in a situation like Bella, how would you act? I mean, you would pretty much do the same thing. It's kind of like when you see a baby whose diaper's being changed and they touch their privates for the first time, and you just see their eyes like, oh, what's that? You know, kind of like, I don't know what that is. Just imagine being an adult doing that for the very first time. And then just, you know, go to town in deeper exploration, so to speak. But yeah, they don't shy away from all these things. How did you feel about your boy Gerard Carmichael in this? It was nice to see him in this.
Two of my boys were in this one, Christopher Abbott and Gerard Carmichael. Gerard Carmichael, who I've championed for years and years. Since Carmichael's show, since his early specials. Saw him twice. Saw him last year and this year, live tapings. I don't know if I told you about the most recent one, but it was this summer for HBO. I'm excited for that project to drop. It's actually a reality show, but it's deeper than that. It's a whole thing.
Oh, okay.
And then Christopher Abbott also in this movie, which I don't think you saw, Sanctuary.
I did not.
But also for movies last year, when we were looking at our favorite movies list, on the count of three. Actually, I need to double check which year this movie technically dropped. That was a whole conversation. But these two dudes are in the movie on the count of three. It's just a two guys movie. Anyway, these are both two actors that I've championed, and seeing them in a Yorgos Lanthimos movie was so exciting. I had heard their names at some point in the last couple years about some industry, somebody talking about it on a podcast or whatever. But I remember avoiding everything I could about this movie and then forgetting it. So I was so happy when I'm looking on the screen, I go, wait, no way. And having that feeling for both actors. And then I'd seen Christopher Abbott's name in the opening credits. And I kept waiting for him. And they talk about the lawyer. I was like, is he going to be the lawyer? No, that's got to be Ruffalo. And then near the end of the movie, when his character hits, oh, what a character. That dude is so good. He's the general or something, the military ex-husband. He is so good at playing a fucking weirdo and a dude who's way too intense. He did it in the show Girls, which was the first time I saw him. And ever since then, there was a while there for a few years where I would just Google, like, what else is he in? What else is he doing? Give me something else. And he wasn't in very much. And I just assumed like personal issues or something weird happened there. But no, he's been in a few bangers lately. And I'm so glad to see both of them in a Lanthimos movie. That's special.
Yeah. And this movie in itself is special. I mean, I will say this right now, that this is my favorite movie of the year. And I knew that when I first saw it. Now, I'm going to see it again. My favorite. This is my hands down.
Where did you first see it?
Okay. I'm not going to have you bait me in saying this again. It's some sort of press screening that I went to at some festival.
Go on.
In New York.
Have a name. Damn it. Was it in New York? Oh, damn it. Okay, so just to clarify, you haven't seen it since then, but that was the
No.
official final release.
Oh,
Because that's something we've talked about too, where like me seeing Maestro in
yeah.
the test screening or whatever, I'm really excited to watch it again because damn. Okay.
Yeah. It's just, you know, like
I'm
when,
thinking it might be my number. It's right up there for me too. But I didn't realize it was gonna be that high for you. Holy
yeah,
shit.
it's one of those things I can't really explain, but when it hits you, it hits you. And this movie
It's
fucking hit me, man. It's just
yeah, good for you.
because it just had everything that I love about movies, man. It just had, again, just let's go down the list. Great directing, great
Great
performances,
directing, great
great
performances,
cinematography, you know,
cinematography, editing,
editing,
camera, everything. The
costumes,
score I
sets. The
loved. The score
score
was
is
trippy as
unbelievable.
fuck.
You know,
We need
so
to
here's
award
a
more scores like that that aren't beautiful or traditionally
yeah.
beautiful. They're like weird shit.
So
I love those.
here's an interesting tidbit I got from the Q&A.
Oh,
The
you went to a
oh
Q&A?
Jesus.
Wait, what? Just a general Q&A about or for this movie in particular? Where
Yes, there
was it?
was. Yes, it was at a festival in New York that I
Was it at
attended.
Eleanor Union Monroe?
No,
Alice
it was
Foley
at the Walter
Hall?
Reed Theater. It was
The
at the
Walter
Walter
Reed
Reed.
Theater.
Yes, that's right.
Interesting. Isn't that Lincoln Center?
Yes, it is.
What a
How'd you
prestigious
know?
venue for a Q&A. Must have been a special occasion.
Some would say it was. Yeah, absolutely. Um, but
Was it a festive
the
atmosphere,
oh
Renee?
Jesus Christ, it was a very festive atmosphere, and
Festivacious festival.
yes, Festivus for the rest of us. But everyone in attendance obviously loved this film. But the person that Yorgos teamed up with for the score, this person has never scored a movie before. But I guess this person does music like
Perfect.
just on his own and all
Genius.
that.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable that this person was able to do it. I mean, it's just it fit so perfectly all throughout. You know, it
That's
was
because
yeah,
I love to see. We don't need another. I mean, shout out fucking all the Hans Zimmers and the John Williamses and everything.
yeah. The
We know you're
Atticus
really,
and
really good
Resner
at
team up.
what you
Yeah,
do. We love you, Luke Goranson. You're so, so special.
yeah,
I want more. And which these, the first time Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross?
yeah. I think it's
Okay,
Atticus
thank
Ross,
you.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, and the first time they do one, even Luke Goranson, I remember being blown away by their early stuff. I'm not trying to take
hmm
anything away from it. Obviously, John Williams, Hans Zimmer, these are goats. But I really like it when they are more experimental with the score and
yeah.
doing things that you don't usually see in a movie score. I probably shouldn't talk shit because all those people I just named do that or have done that. But I see their names every couple of years, and sometimes all of them at once. I really liked this score, and I also another big favorite of mine is similarly Mika Levy, who did like Jackie,
Mm,
Under the Skin. They have a
yeah,
few that are just to me all time faves, and they're doing some things that are just more experimental. The
right.
same, the Safdie brothers, who they use, Oh No Tricks Point Never, something like that. I really like seeing experimental scores in movies that bring out the feeling of the movie.
Yeah,
Not like, oh, here's a violin part that sounds sad, but like, oh no, it was real choppy and there's these sounds that are confusing. Something about it really got me going.
yeah. There's like a good usage of like the synth wave and all that, and it was just like, yeah, it just
And something brilliant about, oh, this person hasn't scored a movie before. Well, this woman has never spoken before with her
right,
baby brain. So
right.
something where it's deconstructed in that way and then reconstructed into the movie, the way that that embellishes its own story that it's in, I thought was well done. And it makes sense that it was a noob who's made music before. Also makes sense. I was like,
Yeah,
there's no way this person, they just go,
no,
here's some
it's like
instruments, act like you're a baby in a woman's body. That'd be a little tough
they,
assignment.
they just throw a keyboard at him and it's like, here you go, do something. Like, dong, ding, dong, ding. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, like I said, you go through the list and this just had everything that hit me. And yeah, I knew it then. And even to this day, with all the movies I've seen since, this is definitely my favorite movie of the year so far. What's up? It looks like you have some revelation
I'm
you're
looking
looking
at
at
this
over there.
the composer's wiki, as I'm also a music lover, and there's some names on this wiki which I'm not going to deep dive on it all
Wiki,
right
wiki,
now, but
wiki.
I really like some people that he's worked with and the scene that he's part of. I don't know his name specifically, but his career makes a little more sense now, and he's fucking cool. I'll just say that. So
Yeah.
okay, who's
And
got bona
Yorgos
fides
is
in
cool
the
for
music
tapping
world?
him to do the soundtrack of this movie.
So cool,
Yeah,
man.
so
He's so
cool.
cool.
Yorgos is the
I can't
coolest.
tell if he'd be the worst guy to get a beer with or the best guy to get a beer with. Like, I think you get a beer with him, but you don't introduce him to your family. I think that's the vibe.
I think that's safe.
Like,
I think
you're
that's
never
pretty
going to meet
safe.
my wife. Let me guarantee you that.
Yeah,
right
I think
now.
that's pretty safe.
But
Yeah.
you and me just hanging out, having a weird old time, some funny little combos. Sure.
Yeah. He's the kind of guy that, after seeing him speak, I feel like he's the kind of guy that would like make fun of you, but you're not sure if he's making fun of you or not. Like he's kind of like playful in that sense, but also can be very sarcastic in a way.
Are you talking about me right now?
No.
I do that.
You know what? On second thought, I think you two will get along brilliantly. And
it might be terrible. I'd be like, wow, that guy's a piece of shit. His brain's a little too weird. We're both saying that about each other.
Oh my god, yeah. Let's you know what? I'm feeling saucy right now. Let's quickly talk about that ending. Because that ending is quite interesting.
Powerful, strong at the very least. Even if it didn't work for you, strong ending.
Very, very strong. So I'm gonna let you lead this because you saw it very fresh. So with the way
you don't
that they
remember how it
ended
ended,
the
that's
movie,
okay. Yeah, because you were too distracted. The Q&A was coming up. You had to get your.
I had to get my camera all
badge.
set up, and I had to like But how did you take the ending, and what would you have done differently, or what is your proposal for a different type of ending?
Oh, well, because what I don't like, people do go, oh, I didn't like how it ended. I wish it had ended this way. Like, cool, but would that have actually worked? Or if it ended that way, you would have wished it hadn't ended that way.
Right.
Maybe there's times people complain about the movie. I heard a good example recently. It was the director of the new Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali Netflix movie, Sam Esmail.
Oh, Leave the World Behind.
Which we're not going to get into the spoilers for that for sure. But basically, a group of types of people would complain about how it ended. He goes, okay, well, if it had ended differently, and he gives them the alternate ending, he goes, this is the other option. Would you have liked it there? Apparently, everyone's like, oh, no, you're right. That sucks.
Right.
I'm not trying to say that they should have ended it this way. I don't know how it would have felt. What I thought was going to happen, and what I think would have been interesting is she gets her, it's basically like, in a way, it's a feminist revenge. Her life kind of comes full circle. Mm-hmm. She takes over the home of the man who created her. She takes away the power of the man who was trying to imprison her. Yeah. How does Ruffalo's character end up? I actually don't recall right now. My memory sucks with these things. But I think he brings Christopher Abbott to the mean husband to her. And that
was in hopes to kind of get her back, like in a way.
But I think his comeuppance had already happened in its own way, where she's like, okay, dude, fuck off. And he's going crazy and it loses all his money.
Yeah, I think he ended up in jail or something like that. Yeah.
He's in an asylum for a while, and then someone pulls him out to help find her, whatever. Anyway. Or no, they just go to her there. Basically, everyone's kind of getting their just desserts, and she's lounging back, enjoying this life and her experiences. Willem Dafoe's character dies, and she has mixed feelings about that, which a lot of folks do, about their parent, who is a mad scientist. I thought she was going to take Willem Dafoe's brain and put it in the mean husband's body, who is a very steamy, sexy young man. Instead, the ex-husband's brain is in the goat's body. So I guess the assumption is that he's aware of everything that's happening, but is kind of like imprisoned in the body of a billy goat. Something about that strange to me, where like, okay, billy goat could actually fuck you up if it has the brain of the husband. No, I'm sorry. I have it backwards. The goat's brain was put in the body of the husband, because we see the actor Yeah, yeah, okay, that's definitely it. We see the actor like chewing grass and then making a bat sound or whatever. That doesn't really punish the brain slash soul of the husband. It just punishes his body. And the body's the only real great redeeming thing about that guy. He's
Yeah.
a sizzling meat stick of a man. Holy shit.
Well, I think it's just it's that satisfaction in seeing that
Sure.
person
It's not
degraded
that
into this
person though.
grass
But
eating
yes,
thing. Yeah.
his body's taken from him. But then,
Yeah.
sure, yes. What I thought would happen is Willem Dafoe's brain is put in the husband's body.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way we get Willem Dafoe still around, but maybe we don't want that in a way, but they'd kind of had their heart to heart by that point.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I think about it, maybe that's less satisfying too. I just wish that I don't know, maybe I have to rewatch it again actually, because that moment I was just very like
It is very like what like that. It's like one of those
yeah.
endings, right? Which Yorgos is very good at. It's like he likes creating those endings, just like oh. But it was definitely one of those type of endings.
I think I need to rewatch it with the full movie in mind because it's another aspect there where so much happens in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And especially we're talking about the cinematography, some of those landscapes and the boats. There's some like Tim Burton thing going on. Yeah.
They're like paintings.
Someone else who was referenced with the but yeah, they're seriously like it's great art. And it's silly and kind of absurd. And but I also like that it wasn't really grounded in our reality too much.
Yeah.
That was lovely also. And I'm sure budget wise, they weren't mad. They didn't have to make it super photorealistic or actually go to that area or whatever. But another one that I think for awards conversation that I didn't realize till I heard the Emma Stone interview on YouTube, not a film festival, mind you. I don't know if you've been to any film festival Q&As lately that you'd like to fucking brag about.
Not in the last month, no.
She talked about the set design, and that's something that when I heard about it, I think it needs to get an award for sure. Apparently, it would take 45 minutes to walk around this set, and they're essentially like, they're not creating a boat, but they're creating like this is a hotel, and you walk, and now here's the balcony, and like, you could actually get lost in it essentially. Mm-hmm. And that it felt like you were in that actual place when you would walk around. So I loved that also. But yeah, what did you think of what did you think of the ending? And is there anything else? Because I know we can't get too into the weeds. Like you could write philosophy paper after philosophy paper.
Oh my God.
This movie,
yeah.
What it's about.
Like just like Oppenheimer, I feel like we could easily do like a video essay that would be like an hour long about this film, and I'm sure there are going to be tons of people doing that. You know, especially once this hits, once this hits digital, you're going to see just like tons
17
of
secret meanings of and how it gets into Hegelian Kant versus Hobbes.
Yeah.
Why is Emma Stone's character the Antichrist? You're like, okay, here we go. Buckling for 48 minutes.
Right. But the ending was just one of those very satisfying endings in the Yorgos Lanthimos type of way, where she comes, I guess, kind of full circle to become like the person that she wants to be. She can easily say that this is who I am now. She's surrounded by all of her friends that she's met along the way that kind of gel with her sensibilities and all that. Everyone that's wronged her has been served their judgment and punishments, whether it was by her hand or from those around her or consequences or whatever the case is. And she's living this, kind of lavish life where she can do no wrong. It's just one of those things. And it's a fascinating end to this journey of hers, where she was just throwing herself in all of these weird and odd directions and learning about life, learning about being human, learning about what society is like and all that, to the point where she was broke, she needed money, and then she just started whoring herself. She became a prostitute, just to make ends meet and all that. So it's so fascinating, and she did it like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do. It is a very feminist way of looking at things, and it is a very justifiable feminist ending that a lot of people will probably take away in that way, right? But there's a lot of other ways you could take it too. But I thought it was just a very satisfying ending. I don't think I would have done anything differently,
Yeah.
nor would I have wanted to see it any differently, because this is what Yorgos wanted us to see. And it's kind of one of those things where I believe he said before that he appreciates people who dissects his movies, but at the same time, let's not go too crazy, right? Let's just, an ending is an ending, and that's just the way I wanted to end it, you know. And that's really what you have to do and walk away with, like, that is the ending you got. But yeah, I would love to see it again to kind of see like how I react to it now after having it like kind of ruminate in my mind for so long. But it's just a fascinating film, a film that only had a $35 million budget, and
Uh,
it doesn't look like it to me. For me, this looks like one of those like high budgeted Hollywood type of productions. But yeah, it was just a very well done and interesting artistic movie that I'm hoping people will give a shot, because it deserves it, at least to see the performances as a whole.
I couldn't agree more. I could nerd out on this one all day. I think it's definitely one of those take the friend you want to have coffee with afterward and have a convo
Yes.
about it kind of
Yeah.
movies. Or maybe even bring some Advil because you might have a migraine afterward. It's so rich, like a good chocolate cake. You might be dehydrated trying to digest this whole thing in one sitting,
Yeah.
but full send recommend. I'm excited to talk about it more with our end of year list and award season. I'm curious if it'll stay your number one. I haven't ranked mine, but if I look through, I'm sure this is like top 3, top 5, maybe number 1, guaranteed.
So with that said, what was your final rating on Letterboxd for it?
5 stars for sure. Like
Nice.
no question at all.
Nice. Yeah. Same with me.
Perfect.
I mean,
I automatically added it to. I never ever add something immediately to my top 10, top 20 list. But I have a list that's supposed to be like a top 150 on Letterboxd.
mhm.
It fluctuates if I add things or remove them. But this one immediately got put on that list, and it was at least the
Nice.
caliber where I was like, okay, this is an all-time fave, no matter what.
Yeah, this was definitely, I added my 12 favorite movies of the year. And I added that into that list myself, like immediately after I saw this.
What did you give it out of 5?
I gave it 5. I gave it full
Good.
5. Full 5. I hearted it,
But
added
you
it
don't
to
do
my
half. If you did,
No.
4.5 or 5.
No, it's a 5. It's I would give it 6. That's how much I love this movie. This movie was just so good. Oh yeah.
I think we haven't seen a movie in theaters together in a while. This might be, when you rewatch it, let me know. I'll try to jump in if I can. This might be a go see this and actually like have a little
let's actually have a sit down and talk about it like afterwards. Yeah.
Because I need to see this one again for sure. I almost already did the other day, but timing didn't work out. But it's one of those, it's going to be see it a few times in theaters kind of vibe.
Yeah, I mean,
it might be my new Saltburn. Saltburn hasn't aged very well in my mind.
Did that take
it might
over?
replace Saltburn as top movie of all time of 2023 ever, forever, no matter what. Yeah, for 2 months.
I guess in a way, she kind of had like a Saltburnish like ending, right? Where she kind of like took ownership of her home and the property and the people's minds.
That's similar vibes for sure. For sure. There's some things about it. If you want to do a little like Venn diagram of the two movies,
right?
Definitely some nudity from the main character.
Lots of nudity.
And also, I rewatched Killing of a Sacred Deer last night. That's Barry Keoghan.
Yeah.
City. Keoghan City. And that's a Lanthimos movie. And that's Saltburn City, baby. So we got a lot of overlap.
If you had a free day, would the triple feature be Killing of a Sacred Deer, Saltburn, and then Poor Things to close it out?
If I have a free day, I'm taking a fucking nap. What are you talking about? I'm not doing that to myself. Never sleep again? Are you kidding me? Or just lose my mind? No, maybe a nice movie in there. Maybe a Willy Wonka. I don't know.
Willy Wonka, not Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Vacation days. Sitting through all 3 of those movies. God help me. If I do that, call the police. Call an ambulance.
So we won't be recommending that you do that for sure. But I mean, that could be something you could do if you wanted to. You'll definitely get a good breadth of all the performances and directing and all that in one sitting.
What was your actual question? No, I'm actually curious. Three, if I could, what would my afternoon program be? Three movies of this year,
If you
or
had to do if you were to do like a triple feature, would the possibility of Killing of a Sacred
I
Deer,
see what you're saying. Even
Saltburn,
though
and
you're
then
mean the
Poor
very beginning, in the
Things,
middle.
right?
Yeah, God, I would wish that on my worst enemy.
What
I
about a
actually
double
like that
feature?
idea.
What about a
Yeah,
double feature of Saltburn and then Poor Things?
love that, and I'm probably gonna do that this weekend at the theater
There you
anyway.
go.
But three, that's when we're just like, okay,
That's
this
too much.
dude's
That's too
yeah,
much.
take the ice cream away. This good dude's not well. That is a good idea though. When we're doing our end of the year stuff, is what
Mhm.
would your put these two movies with these, like, what are those called? The double feature
The double features,
concept.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
if you're programming, what movie would you pair with that movie? So like Oppenheimer
Right.
and Barbie can go together. There's a lot of options for those, but like Godzilla and Oppenheimer can go together real
Oh,
nice.
sure,
Four
absolutely.
Things and
Yeah.
Barbie, give me that. There's something interesting there. I think
Ooh,
that might be a fun game to play at the end of the year once we
that could
actually have
be.
seen these movies.
That could be. Oh, I like that
I
because
like this
again,
topic.
Barbie is a very feministic type of movie, and you got same kind of thematic things going on between the two. So I
Both
might
of them
like
are
that.
brains, consciousness inserted into inanimate
It's
bodies,
another.
full-grown woman in inanimate bodies.
Oh
Yeah,
my god, they both had toxic masculinity involved. So there you go.
very obsessive partners.
Right.
Yeah, just like chill, bro. Energy for sure. That
Let's
actually is
let's
a great pairing. I'm gonna give
That
myself
is
props for
right.
that.
Hey,
Thank
I'm
you.
going to give you a lot of kudos on
I
that one. I like
agree.
that.
I
You know what?
agree.
Once Poor Things is available on digital, I think that's going to be like a perfect 2-4. Like that'll be like a great double feature for an evening. But let's close things off real quick about this, and let's talk about awards scenarios here because this I'm pretty positive that this is going to be in a conversation for several categories. Me personally, Emma Stone for Best Actress, probably screenplay, I would say.
Interesting.
Scorn, costume
Scorn?
design. Did I say scorn? Score.
Is that this from the pornpornography or the AV scoring?
It's the
Or like
AVNs. Yeah, scorn. The scorn.
Scorn awards? Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
score, costume design. Is there still a set design or did they combine that now?
Production design is, I think, what we're
Production
actually
design.
talking about
Okay.
now. Yeah.
Definitely production design for sure.
Her makeup
Directing.
with the Willem Dafoe face, if nothing else, and
Yeah.
her hair. Give me
Oh
hair
my
and
gosh.
makeup.
Just a
Give me
lot of
cinematography.
things.
Give me editing. I would like score. I don't think it gets there, but we'll see. That might, maybe I'm missing some. Maybe everyone's talking about
Mm,
it already. Supporting actor, did you say? We
I
could go
did
down the
not.
list and actually fill out
Yeah.
like 10, 11 nominations for this thing.
Oh, you can for this movie? Oh yeah.
This could be Oppenheimer and Poor Things get the most nominations, or if you give 3 original song nominations to Barbie, like they did for the Globes, then that number it could be. I'm not shocked if Poor Things it gets kind of if it doesn't get all this awards consideration at the end of the day, especially if, let's say, it doesn't do well at the box office or something.
Well, what about this?
Regardless, if you told me that the big winners on nomination night are Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, here's a question though. Like, what is this movie? Would this movie be considered to be too out there for a lot of people to even be considered?
In the world of before, in Green Book Oscars world, yes. In Parasite, Everything Everywhere All at Once Oscars world,
Mm-hmm.
Moonlight, not so much. So I honestly don't think so. If it wasn't a fairy tale, if it was actually like a creepy murdery movie,
Oh, that's a
like more
different.
Killing of a
That
Sacred
changes
Deer,
things. Yeah,
sure.
that
But this
changes
is
things.
like Frankenstein is a beloved property, even
Yeah.
by like classic literary analysis,
Yeah.
folks like professors, everybody. Like fuddy duddies are still going to take Frankenstein seriously as a concept and
Right.
analyze things in that way. Now, there's some things like the Willem Dafoe burping scene. There will be high quality comedy. I gasped and yelped
Oh
one
my
time when he
god,
goes,
same.
"Oh my
Same.
god!"
It was
It's
so
silly.
absurd. It was so
There will be
absurd.
some Oscar voters, which they do this shit everywhere. Like last year, they're like, "Oh, the dildo butt plug movie," which is Everything Everywhere All
Right.
at Once, one of the
Right.
greatest movies
Right.
of all
Right.
time.
Yeah.
those folks will be like, "Oh, the burping Frankenstein movie."
Yeah, the
But
burpy,
those
over the
people
top,
don't matter as much.
artistic Oscar Beatty movie.
Those are like the Karen types who will make sure to make their opinions loudly known,
Yeah.
and no one gives a shit. And I genuinely hope and believe that this will be one of the top nomination getters. Maybe currently, I'm just going to go on a limb here and say number 2 or 3 behind Oppenheimer and maybe Barbie. That's my current gut. I might be way off, but that's what I'm feeling today.
Yeah. No, I mean, I will hope so, because it deserves a lot of the recognition and acclaim. Because this is one of those movies that is like a feat. It's like an artistic feat that I think anyone who really enjoys the art of cinema needs to watch this movie, because I think it's so well done. But like I was saying out there, and my only concern is that maybe a lot of the stuff that is shown and that you experience is a little over the top, and a bit too risque and things like that. Now, Blonde, Ana de Armas was recognized for Blonde as a nomination last time for her performance there. That was a little bit more raunchy and raw. I don't know if Emma's going to get knocked for that here. It's funny. I will share this. There was a question posed by an audience member to Yorgos and creative team about the sex portrayed in the film. And she said, there's a lot of sex in this movie. And with the current generation looking for less sex scenes in movies, how did he approach this, and what was the perfect balance like that for him? He basically just said what felt right. He didn't even think about any of that stuff, like he's trying to tell a story and all.
Sex scenes in the traditional way of like, oh my gosh, these very famous people are about to kiss. It was like metaphor sex scene is metaphor, where you're seeing her learn about things, you're seeing her negotiate, you're seeing her talk about workers' rights in the brothel.
Yeah.
Right. There's other things happening that, of course, sex would be a part of like self-discovery for this person, but it doesn't have to have anything to do with, oh my gosh, these hot people, and we're going to play this sexy music in the background. Like, we have porn, we don't need that. And I think Lanthimos is actually doing a good job addressing that with the way he handles sex in his movies, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, what if sex was meaningless? What if we were disaffected in the ways that we look at the most intimate things? I'm going to do an exercise. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Or you treat it like just for what it was, and it's just another sense of pleasure, right? Just like how you eat for pleasure, you look at things for pleasure, you listen to music for pleasure. Hey, I just need this quick pleasure fix, boom. Because that's kind of what she was doing. That's like anything that pleasured the senses, she was experimenting like twofold all throughout, right? So that's basically how she approached it.
Okay, I'm going to go through the Oscar categories that this could be nominated for, and you just give me a yes or no.
Okay.
We're going to leave out actor in a leading role, and I think it's Ruffalo and or Defoe in supporting actor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The only question isn't does it win, it's just is it going to get nominated? So leave out actor. Actress, yes.
Yes.
For me. Okay. Yeah. Actress supporting, I'm going to say no, but Catherine Hunter, the brothel lead, could get it. I wouldn't be mad about that.
Yeah.
She got nominated for Macbeth a couple years ago, if I recall, COVID year, but actually that might be incorrect. I'm not even sure.
I think
there's talk
wrong,
about it. Okay, yeah, there's talk about it. Anyway, cinematography, yes.
Yes.
Costume design, yes.
Yes.
Directing, yes.
Yes.
Film editing, yes.
Yes.
International feature film, it doesn't qualify. Makeup and hairstyling, yes.
Yes.
Original score, yes.
Yes.
Original song isn't an option. Best picture, yes.
Yes.
Production design, yes.
Yes.
Sound? I'm going to say yes. You never know.
I'm going to say no.
Okay, sure. Okay. Visual effects?
Yes.
Yes. So that's... And screenplay?
Yes.
That's 11 or 12 if you go with yours versus mine. Holy shit.
That's a lot.
Those are... You're right up there with Casablancas and the Titanics and the Everything Everywheres. Any given year when there's a like, oh my God, this movie got this many nominations. This is going to be crazy. It's one of those. This could very much be up there. Now, if we were to play the same game with Oppenheimer and maybe even Barbie, once you like add up a few in supporting and original song for Barbie, the numbers can rack up pretty quickly too. But I don't know what else is in that realm of, oh, fuck, that just, like, that pulled some real Wilt Chamberlain-ass numbers.
Yeah. No, as far as like nominations, and again, this is based off the movies that I've seen so far this year. I can't, outside of Oppenheimer and Barbie, now we have Poor Things. I can't imagine any other movie that will have that much
I've heard like
consideration.
Color Purple could, but it's not going to. Is kind of one of the things about that movie. There's some folks who are saying like, oh no, this is one of the greats, crowd pleaser, could get a bunch of nominations, but so far it doesn't seem like it will. I don't know what else is in contention that's still coming out. Maybe I'm missing something. If anyone's listening to this and like, why aren't you guys thinking of whatever?
Right.
But most of the things that when my brain's going through its Rolodex, none of them are hitting in on that level at all.
Yeah, and to clarify, we're talking about consideration on a multi-category level, like Oppenheimer, Barbie. Now we're saying Poor Things.
Right,
there hasn't been.
May December is going to get some real acting nominations,
or maybe a Killers of a Flower Moon, right? Maybe that's going to get multiple categories there.
That feels like a 5 or a 6 or maybe, something like that. It's a more action. So yeah, give it a few of the underlines and a couple acting, maybe a director, maybe a Best Picture. So yeah, Killers maybe 7.
Yeah,
that's another fun game we can play on our little Oscar ballot game. Is how many nominations each movie gets. So,
I like that.
Yeah, I actually want to do that out. Now I kind of that's all I'm going to do today. That's what I'm going to be thinking about tonight. Cocaine Bear actually might be up there with like 12, 13 nominations. Now
I kind of forgot about that little like sleeper hit in the beginning of the year, right? Yeah. That and Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving is another one that's going to get a lot of nominations. Eli
Saltburn,
Roth
best movie of all time, 2024. Best top movie forever.
Oh, but that being said,
Napoleon, best hats.
Napoleon has a fantastic hat. How about best sex scene? Napoleon, Poor Things, Saltburn,
Not May December.
Not May December. No,
dude, I could play this game all day. You're talking to a man who only wants to play this game forever. Oppenheimer, of course, in the room.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. The best sex scene category. Where's Mr. Skin when you need him?
There's some more I mentioned, but you haven't seen him yet. We're going to move on. I could do this all
Which
day.
one?
Nope. Don't worry about it.
Oh, come on.
I'm not even going to say the name of the movie because then you'll know that somebody fucks. And I don't
American Fiction?
I'm not saying anything.
Fine.
There's a couple. Don't worry about it.
All right. Fine.
Some of us go to film festivals. Some of us just see every movie, every chance we get, all the time.
It's not like this is not what we do.
Some of us get a free pass. Some of us fucking just do it for love of the game, baby.
Hey, that's why we're a good duo. We're a good 1-2 punch here. We got the industry person, and we got the average Joe cinephile.
Industry person, average Joe, get the fuck out of here. Not quit. God damn.
But like we always say here, we're always curious as to what all of you think. So let us know, what are your thoughts on
sorry,
Poor
did we
Things?
say Saltburn for weirdest sex scenes?
Yeah, I said Saltburn.
Okay, good. Okay, I did do that.
Yeah.
I was going through this list. I was like, wait,
no.
6 of the best sex scenes of all time.
Saltburn is in there, baby. Yeah,
Greatest movie ever, dude. Greatest movie ever.
I think
Just
we need to
every Oscar and take all the old Oscars back and give it to Saltburn.
I think we should create the MovieTime Awards where we create our own categories and we announce the best hats, best
most
sex
inspirational sex scenes, which are actually the weirdest ones.
Yeah, the weirdest sex scene.
No, don't go weirdest. Call it the ones that we most want. The ones
the most
that Renee
rewatched sex scenes
finds most aspirational.
I think we should just do that. Well, fuck the MTV Awards, man. Let's just make one that's like makes more sense. But what makes sense to all of you out there? Does Poor Things make sense to you? Let us know in the comments. Let us know. Shoot us a message. We're as this gets spread out more and more, as it releases more nationwide, I am very curious what the reception is going to be like for this. So I'm definitely curious as to what the reception is going to be like for this. Or do people think it's just too weird looking that they're not even going to give it a shot? So definitely curious as to what that overall reception is going to be like. Would you consider Poor Things to be? Did they mention Christmas in this?
Thought about it, couldn't find it, didn't think of it. There's a snowy scene for sure.
Right.
Every now and then on a rewatch, there will be something like that I miss when I'm into the movie. But I don't think in this made up weird universe that's very much like our own, I don't think there's any actual reference to it.
Oh, that's too bad. Okay, so this for now will not be added to the Blake official Christmas, non-Christmas movie list on Letterboxd. Let's close out this episode of Movie Time. This has been a fun episode. I loved all of the stuff that we talked about today. We hope you enjoyed it as well. But before we head on out, Blake, where can people find you and your Christmas holiday movie watch-along list on Letterboxd?
You can just find me on this list. This is where I'll be the rest of my life. I'm fucking sunk in so hard. I'll be on these forever on Letterboxd with my screen name, last name Wolf. Common spelling of all those words, no punctuation, just last name Wolf.
All one word. There you go. And as for me, I will also be contemplating why I'm doing this podcast with Blake and also contemplating his list of holiday classics that I will probably end up watching a good amount of them because I am just so curious about all of the references and all. But you can also find LOWKEY GEEK on Letterboxd, Twix, Instagram, most importantly on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you want to check out the clip outs or check out any of the other reviews and content that we put up there. And again, thank you so much for watching on this podcast platform of your choosing. If you haven't done so yet, leave a great rating, comment, spread the word, share, all that good stuff. We always thank you for all of your support. Check out our affiliate partners in the description if you want to further help support the podcast. And spread some Christmas cheer to us here at Movie Time. And maybe we can get Blake a new mic as well in the process. So that'll be like a wonderful present going into the new year with. So with all that out of the way, I've been Renee. That's been Blake. This has been Movie Time. Stay cool, stay classy, stay safe. And we will catch you all in the next one, baby. Bye-bye.
A rum-pa-pum-pum. God bless us, everyone.
Ho, ho, ho.